Hey there, everybody. It's Andy with My Side of the Fence, and I am here today with the now Chief of Police again.
That's correct.
Doug King. Thank you for coming on.
I appreciate you inviting me.
It's
been exciting to watch you start this adventure.
It's an interesting thing. You know, it's a lot. It really is, because I'm a nerd, right? I run an IT company all day long, and then usually late in the afternoon, like today, switch gears, do podcast, and then, spend the next couple of days. Sometimes I have to edit it a bit.
Yeah.
Not always, but sometimes.
I'm actually a little surprised at the rate of guests you're having. You're going faster than I expected you to go. How's that?
Yeah, well, I was doing 2 a week, and I kind of dropped that back to about 1 a week because no particular reason, really. But, it's supposed to be a really local kind of thing. So at some point, you run out of people, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and politics are different these days, so people are a little concerned at different times.
They are. And I think that, you don't want to have, repeat guests are certainly fine, right? But, I'm trying to stretch it out to not just like public officials or elected, but to private citizens.
Yeah.
Like Rich. That was a long and wandering interview, boy. It's still number one. The most watched interview.
Well, I'll see what my ratings are to see if I get a second invite. How's that?
So, you were chief of police right after John Skinner, right?
That is correct.
Right, and that was an interesting switch because John was Mr. 100% by the numbers. It didn't matter whether you were a police officer or a city council member. You had better have all of your crap squared away, right?
Yeah. Very, very polished individual.
Yeah, John really was. I was brand new on the city council, and, I was ready, fire, aim. And John had more than one occasion to be kind of frustrated with me.
Yeah.
But, he let me do my thing.
Yeah, we lost him this year. Right?
I did. I saw that.
And it's we lost Sam Ellis this year. So in a 12-month period, we lost 2 of the chiefs.
Wow.
2 out of 3 that I worked for.
Right.
Chris Tutko, it would have been the 3rd.
Right.
So it was kind of a trying year for the agency to go, wow. At least for us old timers, we're losing our chiefs.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. So it's just, but it happens, right?
It does.
It does happen. So how long have you been chief?
I just finished my 15th year.
Damn.
So 2010, I was appointed in 2010. And so going on the 16th year, Chief's duration, national average is between 3 and 5 years. So I've exceeded that anyway.
So how long were you an officer before you were chief?
With Manassas, I came in 1989. So things changed a little bit in our profession. So when I came on in 1987, you could not get a job as a police officer.
Really?
My first job was with the town of Vienna.
Mm-hmm.
They had 2 openings. They cut the applications off at 500.
Holy smokes!
They got those the first 10 days. So you had to finish in the top when the testing.
Right.
I still remember I was ranked number 7, and I'm like, I'm not going to get the job. And when they brought me in for an interview, they were like, the first 3 guys didn't pass polygraphs.
Oh wow!
We kind of said, this old boy from Haymarket, let's skip down the list and see what he can do for us. And I was lucky enough to be one of the 2 selected.
Oh, wow.
And I guess it's okay to just keep talking, right? That's what...
Yeah.
Yeah. So the story is, and they treated me like gold. They did. I was treated so well by the town of Vienna, but I lived on Tudor Lane. Of course, grew up in and around Manassas.
Right.
John Connor was killed, and I remember us coming to the funeral. We drove by my house, 1 block from the police department, and by the police department with his motorcycle draped in black.
Right.
And I remember going, why am I policing in Vienna? I felt this pull.
Right.
My community needs me.
Right.
And I applied to come to Manassas to transfer over, and then transferred over in 1989.
That's cool. I remember the day that he was killed.
Yeah.
I was a kid, but I remember thinking with the response that like the army was coming or something, because I think every cop in Northern Virginia showed up.
Yeah, state police and the county all showed up, and then you of course had the helicopter coming in.
Right.
I wasn't there then, but going back and hearing the stories of my friends who were there.
Right.
Because some of them were on the scene, and of course once I came here, some of them would relive that night and start talking about it.
Sure.
Yeah. So very impactful, and it's. I talk about Vienna working, how well they treated me. Manassas turned out okay for me as well.
Not that bad, huh? And the new facility is named after him, right?
It is.
Yeah.
There was never a question, when I made that proposal to City Council.
Right.
Yep. However we have to do it, it is the right thing to do.
I never would have voted for that, right?
No.
For that building, never. I've told you that.
Oh, you mean?
Before.
Oh, yeah, where it's at.
Yeah. I
Well,
told you that.
do you-
Larry Hughes hated me for that.
Well, do you remember the first 2 locations that Liz Villa and I had selected? The first was Gateway.
Oh.
And then the feedback from some of your council members were, no, we need to be downtown.
Oh.
And a couple of your peers back then were pretty strong with their opinions. And then Larry was like, well, let's see what we can make happen.
Right.
And Liz pursued that site, got it, and everybody...
I think it's worked out pretty well.
It has. There's been different opinions on Grant Avenue
Well.
and the tide on that, which I'm sure may come up in this conversation. But it's worked out well for us. The concerns you hear from people about public safety, police won't be able to get out, hasn't been an issue for us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, like for response, you don't really depend on guys in the building for response,
So
right?
you sound like the chief's philosophy. My philosophy is like, if they're responding from the station, I'm usually going to say, why are you at the station? You should be out in our community.
Yeah.
So it's rarely an issue for us.
I wouldn't think so. And it's a good looking building, and it's kind of grown on me. But yeah, Larry Hughes gave me a hard time about that, and I at the time I elected to just not really even talk about it, because I didn't. He's the city manager. I was the new guy. I didn't want to piss him off.
Right. Well, the vision has. At first, Liz really thought that the gas station would be the next thing to go away. Somebody would buy.
Oh, right.
So we had this vision that it would transform that section.
Right.
And then we thought the shopping center would get redeveloped as
Dude,
well.
I don't think that shopping center is going anywhere.
Yeah. So the I call him Mr. Mike, the owner of the shopping center. It had some vacancies, but then it just blossomed, and it's packed.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
So it's not going anywhere for redevelopment. It's a vibrant shopping center.
No, it's cool. It's wild that Joe's is still there.
Very successful. Mike and Lamia sold the business though, the original owners.
I figured.
But it's still Joe's and still vibrant, man.
Still Joe's. So you were you were in law enforcement for a long time, and then switching city managers, that's probably pretty tough.
It was. So my philosophy on that, Andy, was we knew we were going to have an interim city manager.
No, from like Larry Hughes to Badesky to Pate.
Yeah. So if you count the interim people, there's been 6 city managers and 6 fire chiefs as my tenure as police chief.
Wow.
Yeah, but Larry was always kind words. He gave me my opportunity.
Yeah.
But it was some transition there. All those changes. There was a time I was like, we're just spinning our wheels. We're not moving forward with anything.
Right.
There's been so much change. And then, of course, Mr. Pate came along.
Yep.
10 years, a finance background. And, he really set the city up financially to give them choices of what they wanted to do.
Yeah. He's a smart dude.
Yeah, he's doing well down in Carolina as well.
Yeah. I see, I'm friends with John Badesky on Facebook. He's down there south of Richmond just a little bit or something.
Yes.
Seems like he's killing it.
He, I think because I saw him at a couple of meetings and stuff, and we've talked, and he, he's talked about it. Just wasn't the right fit at the right time for him or us and his family as well. So I'm glad it has turned out well for him.
Yeah.
He landed on his feet.
I was disappointed it didn't work out because I really like him.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like Pat or any of these other people, but I thought that John would be the right fit, and for a lot of reasons, it just didn't work out.
Did not work out.
That's okay.
What did you think about that interim city manager we just had for about 15 months?
Yeah, so how much different? I guess the answer is probably a lot, but how much different? I mean, you've seen the city manager job up close, right? Like you've worked with these guys for years, but to actually sit in that chair, what did you think about that?
I actually really enjoyed the decision making and helping drive things and leading the conversations with city council.
Yep.
I enjoyed that part, but what it really showed me is my heart was in policing. I needed to get back to where what I feel I was meant to do, and that was being the police chief. And city council and the mayor treated me extremely well.
Oh, that's good.
During that time. I got asked that question a lot, and every one of them so respectful, so patient, complimented me on my style, urged me to take the position. So, if they didn't like what I was doing, they sure wouldn't have urged me to take the position.
Right.
And that after that first go round of them not finding a good person, they really came back to me, and we had some hard conversations, and I had to reflect. I'm like, what do I want to do?
Sure.
And I just had to be honest with them. I thought about it and told them where I was at, and they were respectful and got it, and then we landed back at Steve Burke.
Yeah.
But I really can't say enough about them.
Yeah.
They treated me very, very well.
That's good.
And my style was different than Mr. Pate's.
Oh, sure. Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing, whether you're council or staff, you got to get used to that.
Yeah.
That's a whole new relationship, man.
It is.
And Larry, he had been city manager forever, I feel like, when I showed up. And he was one of the ones that tried to keep me out of the ditch. He worked pretty hard. I wanted to vote against the VRE parking deck, and I don't remember what it was the Larry or the mayor, maybe both, kind of put the hook on me and said, "Come here, new guy.
I bet they did.
This is not the thing you're doing." And that was for the best. We needed that parking garage.
Yeah. Parking is a tough discussion in this city.
Yeah.
At times you have these discussions of people like, I can't find a parking spot. And I'm like, well, you're 1 block from the garage.
Right.
Well, I don't want to park over there. It's like, you go downtown anywhere else, you're walking blocks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you go to a Caps game, it's, that one parking garage we were using, it's probably 5 blocks. And, if you get there, if you're not there a little early, you're going down to level J or whatever it is. It's starting to get hot.
Yeah. So we've gotten better at it. It is, but you dealt with parking when you were on council.
Yeah.
It's still a hot topic, and I suspect in the future, whenever we develop the hotel, it's going to come up again.
Brother, I never would have turned that lot into a parking lot. It's going to make getting rid of it 10 times harder.
It will. I think we're going to have to work very hard of getting that information out.
Yeah.
I think the mistake we probably made is we really thought the development of the lot was going to happen quicker than
Sooner.
it has.
Yeah.
So we always had this funding. At first, we had this plan to make it a parking.
Right.
And then we started getting the inquiries about a hotel. So we're like, well, we're not turning it into parking in
Right.
6 months, tear it back up.
Right.
And then some things fell through,
Sure.
which they happen in business.
It does happen.
So we eventually, I'm in agreement that what we have is much better than the fence around it. This,
Yeah, I go along with that.
yeah, this is it's given a lot of parking. It's going to be hard to take it away.
Yeah.
But the fence just was not a good long-term look.
No. And, I know the city, there's still people that say, well, we paid too much. And, but we had to buy that guy's business, right? But I'll tell you, and I know the taxpayers deserve return on that investment. But I was sitting over at Ground Central not all that long ago in the morning, and I looked at it and I thought, boy, that'd be a hell of a park.
Well, and you're going to get me and you both in trouble because I said the same thing to city council. So, that happened right at the end of Mr. Pate's tenure.
Right.
And then here comes in this interim guy, and I was actually at the same place. I was at Ground Central, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, that would be a beautiful park.
Yeah.
And I shared that with a couple of council members, and they went, are you nuts?
Yeah, no.
What, we just paid for this? You want to turn it into a park?
This is not a thing.
But we are limited in space in downtown.
Yeah.
But that would be a beautiful park.
Sure would.
But it'll make a beautiful hotel one day as well. And we still have interest. And again, I'm going to praise the mayor and council is they are very selective of the product they want there.
Yeah.
If they just wanted to put something up so they could say they got something up,
Right,
it would have
right.
already been done. But they are very selective in the product and the design. And that's a good thing. In the long run, that is a good thing.
Yeah, well, you don't want some, a half-assed
No.
project and right there. That's the sweet spot, right?
It is.
That hotel and the diner that was built into it. That was the core of Old Town for 30 years.
Yeah.
You went there for lunch every day. When I was on council, it took me 20 minutes to get out of that place because everybody was there and you had to stop and shake hands and chat with people.
Yes, sir.
And I enjoyed it, but after a while, especially if I would go to lunch with one of my staff, they would be like, boss, man, we got to go. We got to get back to work. So hopefully whatever we get, we'll maybe do a little bit of that again. That would be pretty
I
cool.
hope so. Yeah. It's, for I'm going to say for us, lifelong Manassas area, things have changed.
Oh, boy.
We knew all the families. Manassas has grown, so we've lost a little bit of that, but it's also up to us to bring that back, get out to know other people and build those new relationships. I think that is the exciting thing is we and I have met people that have moved to Manassas of how much they love it. That's intriguing. That's exciting to hear. And there's some people that haven't been here very long that are very passionate about it. They have fallen in love with it.
Yeah.
And they have strong opinions of what Manassas is. And then I go, how long have you been here? They're up. It's going on my 5th year. And
Right.
I'm like, okay.
All right, new guy.
So.
Yeah, it's I was surprised, that Manassas has certainly changed. And not just like, well, we've built more houses or now we have a couple of these damn data centers. It's like the people have shown, like we have a refillery. Like if you would have asked me if that thing would have lasted 15 minutes, I would have said not a chance.
Right.
Like you'll see something like that in Roanoke, right?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of hippies down in Roanoke and college kids.
Yes.
They love it.
Just got back from there.
Right. In Manassas, here it is. And, evidently they're doing okay. Still in business.
And no issues with it.
Right.
No fallout from having it there.
Yeah. I do see more people riding bikes as a means of actual transportation. Not as many as maybe I'd like, but Manassas is a busy place.
It is.
You just got to be careful.
I'm waiting for the electric bike thing to take off more than it has.
It seems like it plateaued.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I mean, I see more electric bikes down in Colonial Beach than I see up here.
Well, if you can get the commissioner, Tim DeMera, on here, he's riding one now.
Oh, is he?
So he'll ride it to work and back. So you'll have to ask him what his experiences are.
It's, cycling, it's something that a lot of people love to hate, and I get it.
Are you still doing it?
I do a little bit here and there. I've just about 3 weeks ago started cycling with some regularity. I've been going to, like, my office is right across the railroad tracks from the shop, so I go to the gym.
Right.
But I need more cardio, so and my right knee is giving me some trouble. So cycling seems like a kind of a sweet spot. The problem is up here, it's the busier streets, you have to stay the hell off of. But, there's miles of paths that you can ride at pretty high speed. I mean, all the way to the other end of the county. And it's fantastic. But it is busy. And if you can get to the path, you're good.
I think we have more paths and opportunities than people realize.
I'd agree.
I think if they're exploring it, they're out there.
Yeah.
And of course, then Green Avenue extension is supposed to encourage that as well.
Yeah. Now down in Colonial Beach, you really can't. I mean, there's a 2-lane road in and a 2-lane road out. That's it. You can ride around the town, but I would no more get out there on that 2-lane highway than I would fly to the moon.
Yeah, I fear for some of the bike riders I see on some of our main roads. I'm like, you have more courage than I would have. I would never get on some of those roads.
And I see people. They're normally cyclists who take all of this very seriously.
Yes.
And those guys are out there, right? But it's like you're on the parkway. There's literally a separated path 8 feet away, and you're riding on the margin of the road. No way.
No, not for me either.
I want my brains inside of my head, not on a guardrail somewhere. But I mean, I think as Manassas continues to urbanize, you see more people using different methods of transportation.
And that is really, the city has actually focused a lot on that on their transportation plan.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of the state and federal money to increase those bike lanes here in the city.
Yeah.
And the long-term plan is this urban city where it's a walkable, rideable city.
Yeah.
People live and work in the same place.
Yeah.
So, I think we're on our way there.
It's just, it's going to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and
Yes.
then we'll pick ourselves up and we'll do something else. When I was on council, the first alternative transportation plan, I think they called it, listed Sudley Road as a bike thoroughfare, and I went to Liz and I said, "What does this mean?" She's like, "Well, this is one of our preferred pathways for people to cycle." I said, "On Sudley Road?"
Yeah, not a chance.
No, you need to buy a piece of land and build a cemetery because you're going to fill it.
Yeah, but now we're doing 3 lanes, so that'd make it worse.
I don't understand that. It frustrates me. I never loved the project, but Godwin Drive Extended would have been worth doing.
Yeah.
But those roads through over there by the Giant and everything, separated 4-lane highways, hardly any cars on them over the years. They're starting to get busy.
It is. And as chief, I say this to everyone, the 2 biggest requests, people think crime and everything else.
Right.
Parking
Traffic.
and traffic are the 2 biggest things I hear about, and the 2 biggest request I get from people. Come do some speed enforcement
Right.
on my street.
Right.
And then, of course, now we have, technology's moved with the photo red lights.
Yeah.
And we don't do photo speed in the city other than school zone.
Right.
But the state just approved those for work zones as well. So we have a lot of roads being worked on. Maybe I should explore.
Yeah, when I was on council, I largely the same thing, but or people are convinced like you guys have quotas and this and that and the other, and I was like, man, I think I asked Time Skinner was the chief, and he was like, no, why do we do that?
No, we don't do that. We get the request. Our philosophy now is we have more formal requests from our community than we can fill.
Really?
Yeah, I just can't hit them all. They most people, you were only here one day this month. I'm like, that's all we can do at this point. Our primary is responding to the calls of service. So we do traffic on our downtime.
And there ain't much.
Yeah, there's not much. Although calls for service right now are actually down this year, the first half of this year. Now, when I say that, I got to clarify. We count both you calling in and then what we call officer initiated.
Right.
So the officer initiated calls are down, but that's because they are probably spending more time on other calls. So they're not out doing it on their own.
Right. At any time, how many officers are like circulating in the city?
So the minimum. So we talk about minimum staffing. So the minimum staffing is 5.
Okay.
So that's at the bare bones. There would be 5 working 24 hours a day.
Right.
But then you have your evening shift that overlaps with day shifts. So at the very minimum, you would have 10 at that hour.
Right.
And then night shift comes in at 9. So between 9 and 2, you would have 10 officers during that time at a minimum.
Right.
Most of the time it's more than that. So
how many officers do you have now?
well, we approved one more July 1 that's paid for out of the photo red light money, which is kept separate,
Right.
to do strictly traffic enforcement.
Oh.
So we're at 101 now with that new person. So it has grown, and we're fully, and then knock on wood, your table here, we are for the first time fully staffed.
Oh, you shouldn't have said that out loud.
Yeah. But again, I really pushed during my time of pay and benefits for staff, because across the city, we were just having so much turnover across the city.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it really did a good pay study to be competitive and really focused on the Prince William area. That's who, let's at least be competitive with the people we're surrounded with. Arlington is Arlington, but we need to be competitive right here at home.
Yeah.
Council did that, and since they've done that, we have been fully staffed.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So it's been really, really helpful.
I know those are the 2 words I hated to hear when I was on council. Pay study.
Yeah. Well, we did our own this time instead of paying it out.
Really?
Because everything's available online. You can go and figure out what they've got. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You can look at them and see where you're at.
Right.
And we made some adjustments and put us across the city in a really good place. And it's helped across the city workforce. It's been very helpful.
Good. Yeah, I mean, turnover, I was on council when we had a lot of turnover. And we had, I guess, pay problems or whatever. We got it sorted out, but that kind of turnover, especially with your sworn officers, is destructive.
It is.
I think it might have been you. I'm not sure. Someone explained to me, like, look, right now you have X number of officers on the street, and there's not a lot of seasoned hands around here. On-street management kind of thing.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember my first year, Andy, we had the murder of the Osborne student.
Right.
I was actually at Kalia when that occurred. And then in that winter, we had the multiple murders in Georgetown South.
I remember that.
And of course, this was for our listeners, this is on the heels of the 2008, 2009. So we had rifts, we had layoffs, we froze vacancies.
I remember.
And then you guys called me to the mat. I'm like, I'm not going to survive my first year as chief. In explaining it, how do you only have 3 officers working? Right. And I'm like, hey, your chief at whatever time that was, 10 o'clock at night, was one of the guys kicking the door in to go look for our suspect.
Right.
And I still remember a couple of you going,
oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah, that surprised me.
Your chief was
kicking
the door in. I was the 5th guy on the scene at 10 o'clock at night. And I think everybody was like, okay. And it was actually you who said, okay, what do we need to do here?
Yeah.
And then, of course, it was unanimous. But you're the one who said, what do we need to do tonight to get this thing going?
Yeah, I remember that. That was horrible. And all of that. Yeah, the Great Recession, I remember vividly sitting up there at the dais and, in chambers were a bunch of staff.
Yeah.
And I had to look those people in the eye and vote to put them in the unemployment line. Yeah. And that was a tough vote. I hated it.
Yeah, going back to Chief Skinner, I was a captain and admin, and I remember him coming in and telling me what we had to do. And I go, okay. And he goes, I need you to develop a plan for me. And I went, you want me to do that? He's like, yeah, I need a plan, and I need it by tomorrow morning. And I'm like, I got to be that guy.
Right.
But, leadership has to make tough decisions.
It ain't all sunshine and daisies.
It is
brother.
not. No.
Those are tough things to have to deal with.
It is.
And it's just, any of those times when you get jammed up is tough. It didn't. And 2008 was probably the worst. The Great Recession, that stuff, that was horrible.
Yeah. For those that went through it as a business owner or even an employee that may have gotten ripped from someone.
Yeah.
We ended up doing a remodel at the police department during that time. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
We had the jail, and
you got rid of the jail cells or whatever.
Got rid of the jail cells because our female officer population had risen to we need a fair locker room for them.
They need their own shower. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And we got a remarkable price on that, and the company that did it said, we just want to keep our employees.
We're buying the work. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we're trying to do here. We're not making any profit.
I get it.
So that's sometimes it works out. It's tough decisions. So what kind of questions have you gotten about crime and stuff on your podcast?
Not a lot. I think my general impression, I've not taken a survey, but my general impression is like the stuff that we talk about, that I talk about to you or to anybody else, is just kind of a summary really of, just living in the city and like what concerns are. I don't think that there's a general perception that we have like a crime problem. I don't feel like that's really a thing.
Yeah, that's good. There's been a few things on social media, but same problem you fought when you were on council, we're still fighting today. People associate Manassas with actually Prince William County.
Yeah.
The number of phone calls I get of this crime occurred, and I'm like, yep, that's Prince William County.
Right.
Called Pete Newsham, not me. We still fight that battle, and we don't. Crime is actually down for 2025, the first half here.
Is it? I believe it.
And then we deal with things of, when you're the chief and you're dealing with First Fridays have been so successful, we're overcrowded.
Yeah, they're almost the victim of their own success.
Yeah, that's exactly how I word it. All of our events are. And I don't, have you talked, maybe it was with Rich, you talked a little bit when you went out there and really pushed for the Battle Street redevelopment. And look at what that's turned into
Yeah.
now. Very successful
Yeah.
of what that has turned in. All of our events, we have jurisdictions across the state that call us. Hey, how do y'all do this? Because people talk about what's going on in Manassas, and we want people to come. And I'm like, well, be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
Because it can get out of control.
Yeah, on First Fridays, I'll be honest, I will normally go down to either Sinistral or Doug's, and if I go to Doug's, I'll have a sandwich, have a couple of beers, and I'm out. Because it gets too crazy. I'm an old man. Come on.
Yeah, so am I. So I'm the same way. My wife and I go, and the crowd changes. It goes from our generation to a much younger crowd at the 9:30.
Yeah.
And as we hit the 9 o'clock, even your chief looks at his wife and hits his watch and goes, "Time to go." Chief doesn't want to be here.
I'm out of there by 7, man.
So my wife's a teacher, so she runs into her teacher friends. They want to hang out, but I'm like, 9 o'clock.
Time to go.
This guy needs to go. My staff's got it. I don't need to be involved.
Right.
Did that early on.
Right. Unless something goes horribly wrong, I'm good.
Yeah, they'll call me and let me know. But yeah, First Fridays, I think, again, the lessons we learned there, we needed to do some PSAs, right? We needed to do some social media and messaging and ensuring our visitors that the city and the businesses were on the same page. So
100%.
We had that little meeting. We all came to an agreement of what we thought would work best. We did a little PSA video, and really since then we really haven't had any major issues with it.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
No.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And you think about, let's talk about the 4th of July. I think that's successful. The numbers for the 4th of July, because with cell phones now, you can track the matrix stuff, right?
Oh, sure.
Just in the downtown, 28,000 people.
Holy shit.
In downtown. So we had estimated 40,000 people came to Manassas because that's just downtown.
Right.
As you know, people are on.
They're
at Met's, the giant shopping center.
Yeah.
So we estimated our entire population equal to that. 40,000 people were in town for the 4th of July. And the biggest thing our staff dealt with were a couple of fights, as I call it.
Got some drunk
20-year-old guys being 20-year-old guys.
Yeah.
Somebody looked at somebody's girlfriend or somebody flexed. And then they started a fight. A couple of drunks and a couple of fights. I'll take that any day.
Especially with that many more people.
Yeah.
And that's, it's interesting. There was I'm not sure how this happened, but a tractor trailer ended up going down West Street. Are you aware of this?
I've heard about it. I didn't hear about it that night, but I've heard about it since.
Yeah. And your guys helped him back up 2 blocks on the evening of the 4th of July.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard work, man. Because by that time, there's cars on both sides of the road.
Yes.
And there's people in the street, and man.
We talked about next year we've got to get a better message out about parking and getting the county on board to put out it's okay to use the courthouse.
Oh, right.
Because that is a huge lot.
Oh, sure.
And then working with Uber and others of designated pickup and drop off.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That actually came from someone else that mentioned it to me, and I'm like, I didn't even think about that. That is pre-designated pickup and drop off.
Right. What's the hardest part about policing an event like that? The guys that are on the street.
We have never had a problem with our crowds. It's the post-event because we try to get people out as quickly as we can.
Right.
That is the traffic is the biggest issue.
Is it? Okay.
And coming in at the beginning of the event, it kind of works itself out.
Right.
People get frustrated. Staff gets frustrated when people take cones down and drive around them.
Right.
But it's because it's coming in at a in layers, right?
Right.
But at the end of the night, it's 40,000 people trying to get out of town.
Right.
That is the biggest problem. But I credit them. They have it down to a science. We get them out quickly now.
Yeah. Oh, good.
So it works out well.
That's got to be a tough duty. It really does. I mean, you have to put up. It's hot. People are being dumb. I mean, it's just got to be.
Christmas parade and 4th of July are all hands on deck.
Is that right?
Yeah, everybody is working.
I mean, Christmas parade's a big deal, man.
It is.
It's a big deal.
I remember being out in front of Wars 5 and Dime as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Watching the Christmas parade.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that thing, those guys that I was on that committee for a couple of years, I mean, those guys start meeting in January.
Yeah. Yeah, they start as soon as the parade's over, they start for the next year.
It's unbelievable. The amount of work that goes into it. And then the first year, of course, they assigned me to be behind the bowling alley for traffic control. And I got done with that, and I said, next year, you need to have a guy with a badge back there. Because people they blow right past you, they swerve at you, I said, someone with a gun and a badge needs to be back there, man.
And then it started getting too big, right? So we had to, call it whatever. Andy's parade group is counted as one entry, but then Andy has 100 cars in his parade group. So we had to start working with the committee to. Okay, it can be the Jeep Club, but they're only allowed to have so many Jeeps.
Right.
Because it was going on for an hour and a half longer than it was supposed to.
It got to be too long.
It did, yeah.
And for a number of years, I had to wrangle those high school bands. Also very difficult.
Yes.
But yeah, it got to a point where it was just kind of like, this is too much, man. We've got to kind of cut this back a little bit. But they've kept it relevant, and people love it. They still love it.
They love all the parades and all the events. Let's see. So we talked about 2008, 2009, 2010 when a lot of changes happened. So coming out of that was some of the changes we still have in place. So I don't know if you remember coming out of those budget meetings, it was decided that HMI would only get support for the Rail Fest, 4th of July, Fall Fest, and then the Christmas parade.
Right.
When I say support, meaning the police didn't cost them any money,
right.
so to speak. Services. The city just pitched in and did those. And that's what they're still doing today, 15 years later. That's what they focus on, other than the First Fridays. So things that went away, I'm sure you remember the Wine and Jazz Fest.
Yeah.
Great event, but because Virginia changed how they do wineries, the last ones we had, we couldn't get wineries to come to the festival. Yeah, that was the issue. That's the reason that one went away, because they're like, no, we do these at the vineyard now. We don't come. We want people to come to the vineyards.
Right.
So that model quit working.
Broke. Yeah.
Yeah. That is the real reason that one, because people love that one.
I love that one.
Yeah, that was cool. I enjoyed that one as well. And then the barbecue beer brews, that one kind of went away as well. The other big one that went away this year that I get asked, the Viking Fest.
Man, that thing, I hear about that one.
So do I.
And I think it had, if memory serves, I think it had more to do with I think it was a woman who put it on.
She put it on. She was a for-profit, but it became bigger than she wanted to deal with. And we keep getting asked, why doesn't the city bring it back?
I get asked
HMI bring it back? It may be something they try to do in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I miss those. It seemed like some years ago, there was a steady drumbeat of events, city or HMI events. I mean, citizens don't really, they can't tell.
They don't care.
But there were events at the pavilion. There really only now is the farmers market on Thursday. Occasionally they'll have a band up there, but you had wine and jazz, you had barbecue, you had these other things, and I enjoyed the hell out of them. Bill Sebeski and I volunteered at every one of those things to pour beer. I mean, you got to stick with what you know, right?
Unless you weren't serving the beer y'all were brewing. Yeah, that was
no. But they were a lot of fun. I understand that these things sometimes have to go away for a while, and maybe you can bring them back or change them.
I think changing them is a good way to put it. The Bee Festival is a new one. That thing is.
I can't believe Teresa told me there were 10,000 people there.
Yes. That group, that has been one of the ones that has taken off. And it's, of course, at the Liberia House, so that's different, but it gets people out there as well.
Yeah.
Because you and I probably remember doing other things at the Liberia House.
I can tell you that it's still it's still difficult for me to look at it as a historical building.
Yes. Yeah. Lots of field parties.
Lots of field parties. I was I think it was on city council still, and the museum gave us a tour of it or something. And I was walking down the front driveway, and I was like, you know what? I fell down right there at about 11 o'clock at night.
Oh my God. So the Bee Festival is extremely successful. There's been talk, Matt Arcieri will probably get mad at me or HMI for saying this before anything comes to fruition, but with Annenberg Manor now being brought back, of talking about like a wine festival or a jazz festival on
that'd be fantastic.
Very, very. He tells me stay in my lane,
right?
Which I respect. I'm like that would be so classy at that location. So I think as they start bringing more things back under Parks and Rec, we're going to see some different things coming up and trying them. Yeah. If they're successful, they'll probably build on them. But we need to, I think the Bee Festival bringing publicity to Liberia House is great. I'm very excited about seeing things at Annenberg.
I'm glad that the city, we tried to put together a private group to acquire Annenberg. And ultimately, the city did not want to do that and decided just to buy it themselves, which is I'm completely fine with. My interest was only that this thing stays.
Yeah.
Because the back half of it is still Caton Merchant House or whatever they call it now. So it doesn't exactly flow, but it's the yard is just amazing, and the mansion itself is pretty cool.
Yeah, we have a wedding coming up. I just signed off on a permit because all these permits kind of flow through my office, and I just signed off on our wedding there.
Oh, that's great.
In the near future. So I think it could grow to one of those destinations.
Big business.
Yeah,
it's
really
big business.
But there's still a lot of cool stuff to go on in Manassas.
Yeah. So what? Looking out some number of years, 5, 7 years. What do you think the big challenges for public safety in Manassas will be?
Wow, that is a really good question. So looking 5 to 7 years, well, here in the city, I think public safety in general. So let me talk about that first. I think where technology and this artificial intelligence impacts public safety, where does that go?
Right.
And how does that impact how we do our jobs every day? I think that's a big one. As you probably know, the state struggles with that on what they approve, whether it's photo speed, photo red light.
Yeah.
But where does this AI stuff come in on the enforcement side? The good side of that is that for those that are concerned about officer and citizen interactions, it takes away that. I'm a relationship person. I don't like
crucial.
that.
Yeah.
I think if I'm stopping Andy for speeding, I need to have a conversation with Andy as well. That's nobody enjoys those tickets, but it's how we treat, how do we engage with you, how we interact with you. There's an opportunity there. So there's the downside of that. here in the city, I think our biggest struggle looking that far out with the development that we have coming in and or redevelopment, right? What does that capacity do for us?
Right.
And what is that enforcement side? We're different. I think we were blessed. We have always stuck to our community policing philosophy.
Yeah, I had no appreciation of that when I was when I was first in office.
Yeah.
And I'm a believer in it.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
I'm a believer in it.
I think it served us well when 2020, when you had the protest, and yes, we had one that bled over. I call it bled over to us because it started with the county, and they busted up some cruisers and they chased some cops, and you're aware of everything that happened. But this community, our community, responded within 24 hours of that in support of police. So when you had Alexandria, Arlington, Fairfax, everybody in there, get cops out of school, get rid of the police. Our schools were raising their hand. Hey, we'll take more cops.
We want more cops.
We'll take more cops. We love our cops in the schools. Our community came to our defense. Pastor Savage, he was like, hey, we're going to have this event on the museum lawn. We want you to be a guest speaker.
Oh, I know. Good
and
for
I was
him.
like,
good for him.
What?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we want to show everybody this is what we're made of in Manassas.
Right. Is he still over there?
He still is.
Is
yes,
he? Wow.
Yes. So he had me there, and we had that response around the city. So I think we came out of that differently. And when we have other agencies across the nation, when they hear our story at some of the CALEA stuff, they're like, how do y'all do that? And I'm like, well, we're very engaged with our community. Yeah. At every level. I went, it's not just a specialty unit. It's every officer is doing it. And then we do have specialty units that, a TJ Rodriguez, I think you know TJ. A few years ago, we had a position that came out of a grant dealing only with mental health and addiction issues.
Really?
So it paid for that for 3 years. So she, a female officer, ended up getting the position, who's getting promoted. Shauna Moeller, she took the position, embraced it. And so now we have this officer that was looking at every domestic case, every report, and every mental health case. And she was like, okay, we've been to the Keene household 3 times this week.
Right.
This is probably something's going on. This is going to end badly if we don't do some kind of intervention.
Right. We need to get out.
So she would dive deep into every one of those mental health cases. Hey, this is the 5th time they've been out with Doug Keene this week.
Right.
I'm going to go find Mr. Keene and find out what services he needs. Does he have a counselor? Does he need a counselor? Is he off his medication? And working with social services and community services to get them the help. And then we started seeing better outcomes of both domestics and our mental health cases.
I mean, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, and they come. We and I am blessed with some really smart staff. And you got to be willing to turn them loose, right?
Yeah.
Turn them loose, man. They're passionate about what they want to do, and sometimes you got to put the guardrails up.
You do.
But they have really great ideas. They're passionate about it, and just turn them loose, let them go for it.
I mean, that's a pretty unique idea. Was that a federal grant?
Yeah, came out of the COPS office. We have a great reputation with the COPS office going all the way back when you were in office of getting these positions. Mm-hmm. And because our successes have to be reported back, because you have to do those reports back, and our financial records are always in order. So when we apply for these grants, we do a really good application, and then our history with them is, hey, they're on point. They get all the paperwork in on time.
Right.
They spend the money on what they're supposed to spend it on, and then they've had success of the programs. Or we don't. There's been a few that we don't fudge the numbers. There's been a few that we go, yeah, we're not continuing with the program.
Didn't work out.
We didn't get the success we thought we
It
would.
happens, right?
Right. That's right. That's the reason you do it under a grant.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can test the water, and so they're very receptive. Matter of fact, TJ and Shauna both just got awards from the Department of Justice.
I saw that.
First time in the history of those awards where two separate programs from the same agency got awards the same year. First
Wow.
time. Never been done.
I feel like TJ is everywhere all at once, man.
TJ is one of these. He'd be a good person to invite on as well.
I've asked him.
Okay.
He says he has to get probably an approval on your side.
Yeah, and that's TJ, right?
Yeah, well, you don't want to color outside
Former
the lines.
Marine,
Yeah.
right? So he's going to follow all the processes.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that is extremely passionate
No joke.
about what he wants to do. And I'm sure he's okay with me saying this, but he's a guy that sometimes I can put the guardrails up.
Well,
He's he'll overcommit himself.
yeah,
And
I
it's
can
like,
see that.
TJ, you can't go 24 hours a day.
Right.
Pull back. But he's one of the guys that you can turn loose because
Right.
he'll just go after it.
Yeah, he seems super passionate about what he does.
Yeah. But another good guy, another community member, very vested into the community
Oh yeah.
and our youth. That's where his passion's at.
Yeah. I whenever I manage to attend a cattleman meeting, he's up there a lot of the time. Not all the time, but some of the time.
Yeah, I think he has joined the cattlemen.
Yeah. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah. And he enjoys the interaction. He enjoys the conversations.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty diverse group. We seem to have too many attorneys, but I mean, too many attorneys is two.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty diverse group. So especially if there's something in the news about law enforcement or something like that, he gets those questions, and he's super knowledgeable, and it helps the discussion a lot.
I think the cattlemen people don't realize because I've shown up a few times.
Yeah.
They've asked me to come speak to them. It is a pretty diverse group. Politically, it is. Politically, it's a very diverse group. Some pretty engaging conversations.
Yeah, and we have. Well, I haven't been in a minute, but we've kind of sidelined some of the political discussions, and I think we have a strict 30-second limit on talking about soccer.
Jimmy is passionate about soccer.
Jimmy is passionate about soccer. But last I checked, it was 30 seconds, but that might have changed a little.
Yeah, but I think those conversations are pretty good. My few people have made fun of me. My last night as the interim city manager, I said there's two songs that I listen to when I sometimes need to get my head straight of where I'm at as a leader in this city. Marvin Gaye, What's Going On?
Yeah.
Listen to what I'm saying. And then the other one was Elvis, If I Could Dream.
That's a pretty diverse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My staff, when I was working out on a regular basis, I need to get back into it at the station. If they came in with my music selection, they're like, it's a pretty eclectic list. You go from one extreme to the other. And I do it. It's interesting stuff. But I do believe we need to listen to our community.
Yeah.
And even when they are wrong, when I say it that way, see, that could offend people. But when I say wrong, I mean they got their facts wrong.
Right.
As an example, we talked about the 4th of July of what we had to respond to. I had to answer some questions about, you had a shooting. No, I did not. Yes, you did. Saw it on social media. We did not have a shooting.
Right.
At least there was nothing reported if it's on social media. Or even, Grand Avenue and the traffic circle,
Yeah.
right? Being able to set down whether you agree with it or not. And I can't remember who I was having the conversation with in the community, but I told him, I said, well, the design of that is meant no longer what you remember it as. You remember it as a major thoroughfare to get to the south side of the city.
Right.
The design was changed. It is now just another community street,
Right.
like the street you live on.
Yeah.
And they went, I didn't know that. And I went, yeah. So it's not what you remember.
Right. Right.
We've changed it, and I think if they're again Monday morning quarterback, whatever you want to call it, if we had to do it over, and I think you may have said this, maybe a little wider.
If they would have made the traffic, so I've been to Europe, right?
Yeah.
Traffic circles everywhere.
Yeah.
India, traffic circles everywhere. There's hardly on even giant traffic circles in India, there's one stoplight. And it's like how they do them in DC. It's on a post on the side of the road. And I didn't even see it at first, and everybody stops. And I'm like, what is there? Is someone died? Are they in the road? No, the light's red. Light turns green, off to the races. Weaving in between lanes. There aren't any lanes in India. And on the traffic circles, there's one officer. And
I don't want to be that guy.
no, you don't. And most of them are not armed.
Yes.
Yeah, they have a club. Some don't even have that. It's vastly different in India.
Yeah. So that's information. So I've had to, myself and council, address this safety perception of that traffic circle.
Yeah.
There's accidents there every week. No, we've had 4. 3 of the 4 were single car accidents of people just not
Paying
knowing
attention.
how to drive.
Yeah.
And then the 4th one involved another car. So it's like only 4. So not
Yeah, I don't.
not as bad as people. Again, but it gets on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it just gets blown out of proportion.
I hate the design of that traffic circle, but I can live with it. If I like you, if I can make one change, I would make that part of Grant the same width, the lanes, as the other part.
Yeah.
Because, if you're in a 4-door sedan, on certain parts of the new Grant, you ain't getting over that curb if there's an emergency vehicle behind you.
Yeah.
And where are you going to go? We're going to go into the shared use path. But
Yeah.
so if you can make one change, that would be it. I understand why the council did what they did. I just think it would have been better to have just a little bit more. But they were trying to get a lot of things done in a narrow corridor,
It did. But how interesting is when that development is completed and those townhomes are facing Grant, how different is that going to be for those of us who grew up here?
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is different, but it's going to change. It already has. It's already changed the face of South Grant Avenue there.
Sure.
It's already come through. You mentioned something that I found interesting is the officer in the circle and what the cops were in Europe. It's probably been 5 years ago, maybe a little longer. Our academy, which is the Northern Virginia Academy, had an exchange program, and we had an officer from Europe come over, and all he did was teach and share their experiences to all of us of not being armed, or there's only limited those who are armed in the police department, and what that did for them. And you want to talk about making your communication skills? That's what he talked about.
I bet.
You want to make your communication skills, you have to talk to somebody that is armed,
Right.
and all you have is a baton.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to learn to talk to people real quick until the guy with the gun shows up.
Right.
But that was an interesting lesson of what they did, and it brought to mind. I remember we talk about cell phones and texting and the new generation. I remember coming through what we call roll calls, where the officers. I can still remember going through, and there were 2 officers sitting across from the table, and they weren't talking. And I came in, hey guys, how's it going? Oh, hey chief, and they go right back to the
Oh,
phones.
yeah.
And they were laughing. And I went, what's going on? They're like, oh, we're just talking to each other. And I went,
Yeah.
you're not talking to each other. And they went, well, we're texting each other. And I went, you're sitting across the table from each other. And I was good friends with the academy director. I'm like, hey, we've got to implement a verbal communication
Yeah.
training session. We can't graduate these officers when they're not working on that skill set.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
and I gave him
important.
my experience, and he's like,
Right.
"Yeah, we're going to build that in." It was just it's a different generation.
Yeah. I mean, the people that are younger communicate very differently
Yeah,
than we do. I can't tell you, and but it does creep in, right? Like, I can't tell you the last time I made an actual phone call on my cell phone.
right.
I've had people call me occasionally, but yeah, I'm just as guilty. I'll text.
Yeah,
at the drop of a hat.
absolutely. Yeah, that goes back to that technology change. I said that may impact policing. We are just completed our new records management system and computer aided dispatch. I've been doing this 38 years. It was pen and paper.
Right.
And the new system is designed around a cell phone so that they can do all the apps. Everything's on their cell phone.
Oh, wow.
So they have access to everything that we have on their cell phone if they want. Big
That's pretty
change.
cool. Yeah.
And I think the other big change just popped in, and you asked the question earlier, and this kind of came out of after the events in Charlottesville.
Right.
Is our emergency response has always been either separate units or, oh, you have this thing going on, everybody respond to the station, get your gear,
Right.
and then get organized and go. Too late.
Yeah.
So now the model is, now that you're using the Explorers more than anything else, those officers are keeping all of that equipment in the car.
Right.
So if there's as they call a pop-up protest, the officer that shows up has his or her gear right there,
Right.
can get it on, and they're well protected, and gives you that emergency response immediately.
I mean, you had to. You and I talked at some length about that.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to the old black and whites? I mean, now we've got Ford or Explorers, and you explained that to me, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Especially, Manassas is only becoming more densely populated
Yeah.
with infill development and stuff like that. I mean, you need to have all of the tools in hand.
Yeah, so all that civil disturbance gear, the ballistic shields.
Yeah.
If you have an active shooter,
Right.
you can't wait. You have to go. So you have to make sure your staff has the right equipment to be able to respond, because otherwise you end up, unfortunately, with what happened in Texas. You're standing by at the car for an hour and a half while a guy's going through shooting. No,
that can't happen.
That can't happen.
No.
My folks, your folks, they're your police. They train on a regular basis for active incidents.
Is that right?
They go to different businesses, train with them, give them lessons of things they should do.
Right.
So they're very engaged with that and making sure our communities out there know as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that it's even necessary.
Yeah.
But it's way better to spend the time, money, energy to make sure that if something horrible happens, and there's a shooting at a church this weekend.
Yeah.
Down in Texas, maybe.
Yeah.
You have to be able to end those events.
Yes. And that's a hard thing. Dr. Newman asked me a couple years ago to come talk at the beginning of the school year to all the staff about this.
Oh, is that right?
About
That's
this
tough, right?
and what they could expect from us. Now, my wife's in the audience, so you have to keep that in mind as well. And for me to stand in front of them to say, it's important that you understand if you have it, the police are going to go, you may be injured and laying down. We are going to bypass you
Right.
to go find the threat.
Yeah. I mean, that's tough sledding, but
But they're like, you mean if I'm hurt, you're going to go past my classroom? Yes, we need to find the threat,
right.
so we can eliminate the threat, so no additional people are going to get hurt.
Right.
So-
Right. Well, I mean, that's
And then,
got
of
to
course,
be.
my wife's like, "Well, you're not going to go back there, right?" Yeah, no, honey, I'll make sure.
Well, it must be incredibly daunting because not too long after the shooting at Uvalde,
Yes.
there was another shooting, and they had video of like 2 or 3 officers lining up at the door, and the guy was like, I need two.
Yeah.
And the one guy has probably an M4. The next
Yeah.
guy has a shotgun. The guy behind him has a pistol. And, in the door they went, and they took that person out. That must be daunting because you don't know where any of that is.
That's right.
That's tough.
Yeah, and again, the thing that we've gotten really good at is, so here in Northern Virginia, it wouldn't matter if the first person was Manassas City, the second one was Prince William, and the third one was Manassas Park.
Oh, yeah.
It's the first 3 officers on the scene
Go.
go. You don't wait for anybody else.
Right.
You get your shield, you get your weapons, you go. And we all are doing it the same way. So you can do that cross training and mix. Works out well.
Well, that's good to hear.
It's good to hear, and knock on wood again, hopefully we never need it.
I hope
But you
not.
have to train for it in case you do.
Yeah. I mean, it's better to spend the money, energy, and time being prepared instead of trying to explain to somebody why 30 people got killed because we didn't have whatever.
Yeah, I never want to have that conversation with, I'm sorry we didn't save your child.
Right.
Because we were waiting in the parking lot for the equipment to show up.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a conversation you want to have.
No, I mean it's an unfortunate development, but I don't know what the hell you do about it. People are people.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they seem to go to violence instead of disagreeing with each other. At times, we seem to just be going to violence. That's the side we don't understand.
Yeah. Well, and it's been a minute since we had anybody take a shot at the president, but it's been years since before that guy shot at Trump.
Yeah.
Since someone has, I guess it was probably Reagan. Wasn't it? Yeah. So it's just been, but in the schools and the soft targets, it seems like it's pretty regular, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the other thing we've gotten good at in our business, and most of the time with community help, is the intervention side. So most of them are posting something somewhere and giving their peers, their teenage peers, the confidence for them to go to their parents or the school resource officer, and then they're calling us. So we're going to the house before it ever happens.
Right.
And doing the intervention there. We've had a number of those where there was probably nothing was ever going to happen, but the threat was made.
Yeah.
And we go, do they have access to a weapon? Or the weapons in the house? Was it just a teenager saying something stupid?
Yeah.
Or were they really angry and trying to develop a method to go make it happen? Scary.
Yeah.
But a fact of life. But again, it goes back to those relationships, Andy, of making sure those school resource officers have the relationships with the students so they can whisper in his or her ear of, hey, look out for this person.
We got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the other thing that's at least a little quirky is how resistant sometimes citizens are to call the police. We were in a town hall meeting, and this lady stood up, she was recognized, and she was clearly pregnant. And she said, I live over off of Zimbro, I think it was. And, I'm pregnant, and I have to get up a number of times at night to go to the bathroom. And I've been noticing that late at night, there are people going in and out of the basement of the house next to me. And I said, well, ma'am, did you call the police? Well, no, I don't want to bother them. And I said, ma'am, that's part of their job.
We want you to call. Let us figure it out.
Yeah. But and you even saw some of that after some of the First Friday stuff. You saw some of that on Facebook. People were like, well, I don't want to call the police. I don't want to bother. Like, that's why they have a non-emergency number.
Yeah, absolutely. We did some community messaging about that, of getting people in. I'm again, community policing. You know what's supposed to be on your street and your neighbors
Right.
better than I do.
Right.
If you see something out of place, give us a call. Let us come check it out.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do the crime prevention side of this thing.
Yeah, it really is. Well, and community policing feeds right into that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one of the first budget discussions we had with Skinner, because that was there was a lot. That was a heavy immigration period into Manassas.
Yeah.
There was a lot of petty crimes, and how do we fix this? Community policing.
Yeah.
You just got to hire more cops. And we're like, well, okay, let's see what we can do.
Yeah, community policing takes more police, not less.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate side of community policing if you're going to do it the right way.
Yeah, but you want to be where we currently are, and that's that people generally feel pretty safe.
Yeah.
There are some exceptions here and there as there's an incident, but I feel like mostly people feel pretty safe in the city.
I would agree with that. Until you're the victim of a crime,
Right.
And I have been numerous, from credit card, white collar fraud, house been broken into, cars been broken into.
Yeah.
So I've experienced all those like everyone else, and it just it gives you an eerie feeling.
Yeah.
When I'll be the first person to admit that when my truck was going through and things taken out, I said, I didn't lock it. That was on me.
Yeah.
Because that's what we tell everybody else.
Yeah.
Right? Lock your car up.
Lock your car.
Turn your outside lights on. And I didn't do any of those things. Forgot it that night. And that night, my truck got hit. So I'm like, that was on me. I should have kept it locked up.
Yeah. That happens in Old Town episodically. There will be, 1 week where people in some of the Facebook groups were like, I saw this guy on my camera, and then it seems like it goes away for 6 months.
Yeah, we've had people on camera from their security cameras in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Somebody walking down, all they're doing is hitting doorknobs.
Yeah.
Of the cars to find one that's unlocked, and when they hit the one that's unlocked, they start rummaging through it.
Yeah.
But we've got them on camera of doing it.
Gotta lock your car. I used to have a ragtop Jeep, and I never locked it because I was afraid someone would cut the top. And I came out, this was 15 years ago. I came out one morning, and the console in the middle was full of junk. There may have been a couple of dollars in there, but it was full of junk. And I came out and I opened the door, and whoever had gone through my car had very neatly organized all of my stuff on the passenger seat. They had piled my CDs up. The change was gone, but like I said, there's a couple of bucks. But there was like some other stuff, and it was very neatly laid out and organized. And I was just like, man, I don't feel like I even want to mess that up. They did a pretty good job.
Can you come back and do it again?
Right. No joke.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. So one of the questions I like to ask people that that are in a particular profession, like Mike Perez is a doctor, right?
Yes.
Mike knows a lot about doctoring, and I like to ask them questions. The story that I told Mike was, when back probably around 2001, 2002, something like that, early aughts. I was sick. Something was wrong with me, right? So I went into WebMD. And I typed in all my symptoms, and it came back, and it was some sort of rare West African virus, right? So I make an appointment with my doctor, and I walk in, and she says, "What's going on?" I said, I feel a little under the weather, and I was looking at WebMD, and I handed her the paper, and this is what I said it got. She didn't even look at me. She folded it in half, tore it in half, and dropped it in the trash can. And for me, I'm a nerd, so I watch some of these shows, and they're like, well, we're going to hack the firewall, or we're going to hack this, or we're going to do that. That stuff makes me crazy, because I'm like, that's not possible. It doesn't work that way. When you see, Law and Order TV shows or movies, people kicking in doors, what makes you crazy?
The expediency that they are able to solve and get results from labs, for whether it's DNA
right.
or other things, it's like they pick it up and 2 hours later they have the result,
right.
and they're solving the case. And then when one of our residents have a case and we take evidence, they're like, well, you'll have this by the end of the day, right?
Right.
No. It's probably going to take 30 days.
Is that right?
Yeah, it takes a while. They're pretty backed up.
Yeah.
But it definitely takes a while. But the expectation, because that's what happens
Sure.
on TV.
Sure.
Now, on the flip side of that, Mark Wolf says it best. He goes, you may commit a crime in Manassas, but MCPD's going to catch you. He goes, they're going to lock you up. It may not happen today, but they are going to lock you up. They will solve the crime.
Right.
So it may take a little longer than expected. I think before the show we talked about people's understanding of politics and the government structure.
Yeah.
I think one of the frustrating things for victims. I'm a big victims' rights person.
Mm-hmm.
And every year I tell state officials, we need to refocus on victims' rights. You rely on, if you're a resident and you have a crime, you're relying on the police to walk you through every aspect of it.
Right.
Including the court. And we do. But we are out of our control once it hits the court system.
Right.
And they become very frustrated with postponement of court dates. The outcomes wasn't what they thought they should be. They
Right.
didn't get jail time.
Right.
Why was it thrown out of court? Why was it no prost? And it was the police fault.
Right.
That side of it, no. Maybe it is if we mess something up in the case.
Well, yeah, but it's
requires
up to the Commonwealth's attorney.
Commonwealth attorney and the judges. We don't control that aspect of it.
Right.
And it's very frustrating for them. And I'm really sensitive to that. There have been a few cases in the last couple years. It really impacted the resident. Emotionally, mentally, they just could not get over that. They just felt that they were dismissed, and,
right.
and there was absolutely nothing I could do to console them of saying, I understand, but I can't control that side of it.
I mean, as a victim, you want to be heard.
Yeah.
And, that doesn't happen for whatever reason.
For whatever reason, that part of it, and so I guess maybe sometimes on the TV shows they show that, but they think the expediency of it is, it's not reality.
Yeah.
And I was first introduced to that 1987 when I came out of the academy in Vienna. A guy's lawnmower was taken out of his shed. Especially then, Vienna was upper middle class at least.
Definitely was.
And after the third court date, I still remember the gentleman going, "You can keep the lawnmower."
Yeah.
I can't. I'm not missing work anymore.
Yeah.
It was $100 lawnmower.
Right.
I don't care now.
Yeah.
I can't keep missing work. And I still remember that case. It was like one of my first introductions to it.
Yeah, I mean, people have real lives outside of that kind of stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that at some level, people understand the role and the job of the police department.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I mean, they understand that judges make decisions, but all the rest of that, I feel like most people don't really have much of a grasp on how all that works.
Yeah. As I said, the first experience with the criminal justice system can lead people in a very bad place.
Yeah. I mean, especially, your Commonwealth's attorney not inclined to prosecute much, if any, petty crime. It all just kind of goes away.
Yeah. I hear that a lot.
I mean, I don't know if that's what's happening here.
I was going to say, just to be clear,
just in general.
In general, that is a big problem across the United States. We hear that a lot. But I will tell you here, Amy Ashworth hears that a lot. But from my staff, that's not the case. Now, not processing or not pursuing it because the witness won't come to court.
Right. That's a
the
different
victim
story.
Doesn't want to pursue it. But I want Andy to go to jail.
Right.
They can't put on the case unless you come to court.
Right.
Of course, those cases get dropped because her office cannot pursue them.
Well, she has limited resources. I know there's a lot of frustration with the perception of that office, but I also know that just like every other part of local government, you don't have endless resources.
You don't have endless resources, and she followed up from a legend, Paul Ebert.
Well, there is that.
Yeah.
Who seemed to be everywhere all at once.
Yeah. And was a very well-known Commonwealth attorney, tough on crime. And a very big victim advocate as well.
Was he?
Yeah. If you were a victim of a crime and you called Paul Ebert, he was going to hear you out.
Yeah.
And he was probably going to take some action on somebody.
Someone's going to suffer.
Somebody was going to suffer at Paul Ebert's hands. Somebody's going to go to jail.
Right.
So it's not like we've had a big change in Commonwealth attorneys. So there is that side of it as well.
Yeah, I mean that whole thing. It has just that facility is gargantuan, man.
Yeah.
And is it close to capacity of the jail?
No, the jail is actually about half capacity,
believe
it or not.
Good.
So that's the side of it that, again, with state mandates and sentencing guidelines and getting other services, right? We're not talking about, in most cases, repeat offenders type thing. We're talking about, first offenders, trying to get them to a different place.
Right.
The sentencing guidelines are different. So, we're in the 530 people in that jail.
And it'll hold 1,000?
At one point, it was around 1,300.
Wow.
That we had in there.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was well over 1,000. So we're about half of what it used to be. For a lot of reasons.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather be there instead of overcrowded and the feds, circling, we're going to sue you.
And there's a cost to that. I mean,
sure.
Manassas pays for every inmate that we put in there.
That's right.
So there is that cost as well. And of course, that whole facility is changing because the hole in the donut, as you know, they have, I think have you seen the plan for the courthouse expansion?
Oh, with like the parking deck and all that stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, how it's been some years since I saw that plan. They're
close to breaking, I think they might break ground next year.
On the parking deck?
On the first phase of the expansion.
Damn.
So in the next 3 years, you should start seeing work done over there.
Wow.
And that's going to impact us as a city.
Sure.
Traffic, people in and out, noise. It's encroaching closer to the residents.
Yeah, it is.
That's going to be an issue for us as we look 5 years out. You ask me how that complex builds out, the impact of that, what other services the city puts over there is always a concern.
Yeah. That little patch of woods there, I spent some fair amount of time in my childhood in that place. And I went back, it was during COVID. I walked back over there and I walked back into the woods, and I actually found the little place like where we where we used to play, like where we had our fort.
Yeah.
And we had, there was a rock ring, and we would light fires in there. And I remember looking at it and thinking, like, this could literally be a set from a movie about a serial killer.
Oh my God! Let's not let that happen.
No.
Yeah, so those are going to be changes in downtown, right? That's going to impact downtown traffic and what other development office space is needed. Does that bring in more attorneys' office needs in the area? Everything that supports the court.
Right.
So it could be good for businesses in and around town, but it could also have negative impacts as well.
Yeah, no, it definitely
to be seen.
Yeah. I mean, all those things going forward.
Eventually, one day I'll retire. It'll be the next person's responsibility.
No imminent plans to retire.
I don't. I have 38 years, 60 years old. I still love coming to work. I love doing what I'm doing. If people hear me say this, I'm like, there's always these dynamics. As long as I still enjoy it, my staff still wants me there, because the last thing any chief wants is a vote of no confidence.
Right.
Again, I'm blessed. Staff has been, the 15 months I was gone, they were very clear when you're coming back. So I'm blessed with that. The community, still have a lot of support from the community and from the elected body. All of that, I am truly blessed.
Yeah.
I couldn't ask for a better situation with any of that. Any of those change, it could change.
Yeah, it definitely could upset the apple cart.
And we could have something that happens tomorrow that changes perception of any of those. I think what's helped me survive 15 years with a complete
overall city council,
all Republican to Democrat now, majority, is remaining true to who I am, right? And then making sure, really, John Skinner set us up as an accredited agency, and maintaining those good ethics and leadership principles helped me transition and survive that 6 different city managers and a change in council. So my belief, Andy, is if you're doing the right thing and your chief is being apolitical,
right,
which he
should
be, and you're doing the right thing for the right reasons, and you're able to explain it and talk about it, you should be able to get through those transitions. Doesn't mean they'll be easy.
No.
Because sometimes people just want to change.
Yeah. Or the new city manager has a guy that he likes, and he wants to. Yeah. I mean, those are all things.
Yeah, we just saw that in Alexandria. Just has had that.
Oh, is that right?
A couple of chiefs back to back, and the new city manager and the acting chief was doing a really good job. He had actually come from another agency, but the city manager came from Texas, and their new chief is from Texas. He had a relationship with this person and wanted to bring it in. Again, I will take it back to council, going all the way back to you and the current mayor and council. They've been we're not looking for a change.
Right.
We want the guy we have there now.
Yeah.
These are the things we would like to see changed in the city.
Right.
But we're not looking to come in and change personnel.
Right.
So I've been lucky there. But a lot of it is relationships and the reputation of our police department.
Right. Well, that's crucial.
It is.
It's crucial.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that I've spent much, if any, time talking to the current city manager.
Steve Burke?
Yeah, I don't know him real well.
Yeah, so Steve, I'll try to make an introduction. Steve was town manager of Front Royal, came here as our public works director,
That's right. That's right.
then left here as public works director, went to town of Luray as their town manager.
Oh,
And then when I was the interim city manager, we had a vacancy. I really liked him. I'm like, hey, we're looking for a public works
right.
director.
Right.
He came back.
Huh.
So he came back, and then I reorganized the structure of the city government. So if you remember, you had a city manager and a deputy city manager.
Right.
It was pretty siloed.
Right.
Council allowed me to reorganize and sell them on the model that I believe is the right model. We did away with the deputy city manager, and we have these, I call them bubbles of assistant city manager. I'm one, but so I'm the police chief, but I'm also an assistant city manager, and I have fire and rescue and social services. So I labeled that as safety and health. Those are my things that I oversee. Matt Arcieri, Parks, Rec, Community Development, Economic Development, Diane Bergeron, Finance, IT.
Diane's the finance boss?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so assistant city manager overseeing.
She was
all
always
of us.
sharp.
Yeah. And then the fourth one, so there were four, and the fourth one was all of those operations under public works and utilities.
Right, I get it.
And of course, then the direct reports directly to the city manager. You have all of us plus airports are direct report to the city manager.
Right.
It's a pretty big one coming up.
It is.
That will change the police department as well because of the mandates by FAA security. That will be where your growth with the police department will be.
Yeah.
Because you'll have to have staff out there.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sure.
They have to be on site.
Yeah, it's scheduled as service.
Yeah. So before, there's a time frame before and after landing of passengers.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
That'll be growth. And that'll be interesting to see where that passenger service goes. Could take off.
It could.
Literally take off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still, is that a couple of years out still?
They, if they are able to hold their timeline, they would actually like the first flights spring of 26.
Wow.
They would like spring break of 26 to be their kickoff.
Right. Damn.
So, that means the first flights and things are in place. And then from there's going to be a lot of build out.
Right.
As success comes.
Right. All right, cool. Well, I think we covered it.
I think so. How long have we been going?
I don't know, hour and a half, something like that.
Wow.
Well, look, thanks for coming on, Doug. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I would offer to you or those that are listening, I'll be glad to come back. We kind of talked a lot about a lot of things, but if there's crime or policing that comes up, I would love to come back. These have to be good methods for us to get information in.
Yeah, I mean, the more information, that's the whole idea behind this podcast. It's not a political tool. It's just an information tool.
Yeah.
I try and be intentional about interviewing people from both sides of the elected guys, But anyways, look, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate you taking the time. Yeah.
Yep.